Welcome to the tutorial for implementing online payment processing system with Monaris. This is basically not a tutorial, but the thing is I will be doing some experiment and some testing with Monaris online payment processing system for the implementation, and I'm just recording it if it helps someone or not. I just prepared 2 slides shortly so that you understand what this testing or tutorial, whatever you say, will cover. First of all, the target in this case is we'll demonstrate how to implement an online payment processing system utilizing Monaris. You know, Monaris is the only and the biggest online payment processor in Canada, and Monaris provides 2 forms of payment processing. One form is that you can collect credit card information through an web page hosted by Monaris. This is one way. The credit card collection information will be done on Monaris site, and then if you want, you can also display the receipt information on the Monaris site and then come back to your site. And another thing can be you can collect credit card information and all the customer information from your own website, and then you can connect to the Monaris internally using programming and do all the validation, and after processing collect all the responses failed from Monaris and create your own receipt. I will just demonstrate at this point the first option, where customer will buy products from your website, and then when they want to pay, they have to go to the Monaris website. Then Monaris will collect credit card information, and after that it will verify the order, and then the time of receipt showing or email sending to the customer comes. You can do it through Monaris also. You can send email through Monaris has systems, so that the customer will get notification. Also, after coming back from Monaris website to your website, you can also send email. At this point, Monaris can also show the receipt, and also you yourself can send receipt to the customer by programming. In our case, we'll demonstrate a little bit of everything in this scenario, especially for the receipt. Okay, let's start. Here you see that I have just listed some URLs, and that will help to understand just some reference or some resources that you can consult yourself and will get some good ideas on it. First, we see a guide, an URL. It actually provides detailed information how to implement Monaris online payment processing system. It contains the explanation for both approaches, doing it by yourself through programming, or hosting, or let Monaris host your payment processing and payment collection, credit card information collection page, and also which fields to send to Monaris and what you can get back from Monaris, and how to configure the store and administer everything. And also it just keeps everything or explains everything, and what are the responses Monaris can send to you and how you can handle those things. It contains everything that you really need to know. And second option, it is a demo provided by Monaris, so that you can check a reference implementation and implement something similar. And it is the hosted pay-based approach, not the other approach. And demo store administration, this is another URL from where you can see it is just a administrative window provided by Monaris, where you can also check everything. I think when the customer creates some order in this administration window, you can see them. You can generate reports for all the transactions, and we also do some, you can also do some configuration here. For the total process, it can handle the receipt generation or the payment collection page appearance and many other stuffs. And actually Monaris provides for store administration, Monaris provides two kinds of setup. One is for the test setup. In the test setup, everyone can log in and do some testing on it and create a testing store and play with it. It's just for your testing phase. And when you will really go for the real implementation or production, then you have to buy a Monaris store, Monaris merchant account or Monaris store. In that case, you will get a personalized URL and personalized store where the same features will be available. The features the testing environment provides, you will get more similar or more information or more configuration setups in your purchased production store or administrative window, whatever you say. So, and what this implementation really involves, actually there are several steps. You see, just for common sense, you will be collecting order information from the customer. Actually, he will order something and you have to record this information, and you also need to collect customer details. Sometimes it can happen your system may already have the customer information if he's a recurring customer or returning customer, or if he's a new customer, then maybe you will collect information from that customer. Or it can happen that you can give the customer a registration option. After registering, you can take him through the whole process. And in respect of Monaris implementation, you can collect some basic information that are must required for Monaris implementation, and you can also collect detailed information that are required for Monaris implementation. I think you just have to play with it, whatever you need, and customize it. I will just give some brief on it. And after this, it will go to the Monaris hosted page, and you can collect credit card information from the customer, and there will be the payment validation. I think when customer will click some button, Monaris will do the payment processing, and it will say that it is successful or failure. And then returning from Monaris, you can return directly to one of the web pages of your website from Monaris, or you can go to the receipt page as hosted by Monaris. If you want Monaris to display the customer receipt, you can do it, or you can come back to your website to a particular web page, and from that web page you can write coding, whatever you want to show to the customer. A common approach can be, after coming back to your website, if the payment gets approved, you can display him or her the success message, that the message or the transaction is approved, and also you can display him or her the receipt, all the details, billing address, shipping address, some digits from the credit card, and your merchant account information and product details, item details, whatever you want. You can customize these things definitely. And if the transaction does not get approved, you can just display him the error messages and maybe the cause why it did not go through. Or you can also do it in the other way. You can also again ask for a different credit card as it did not went through. The choice is yours. I will just show some basics and some variations, and also the option to display receipt from the Monaris is always there. In that case, Monaris will display the receipt, and it will also display continue button. After the user will press the continue button, it has to come back to your website, and in Monaris administration window you can actually mention some URLs where the control will go. And also in third point we see that we are mentioning administer Monaris store. Actually you will get a administration window or your own store administration set up by Monaris. Here you can mention different kind of options, such as what kind of payment you want to receive. Is it just Visa card, or is it just MasterCard, or it's American Express or something else? You can mention that. And you can also customize the Monaris hosted pages, what it will contain. There will be some basic information to collect, just like the credit card information, expiry date and card holder's name. This is the basic information that you must have to collect. But in addition, if you want Monaris to display shipping address and billing address from the customer, you can also do that. You can just customize the appearance of the hosted pages. Actually, for extra informations like shipping address, billing address, you have to supply it from your web page to the Monaris. Then Monaris will be able to display it, and from the administration window you can just select the options. Do you want to display it on the hosted page or not? That where the administration comes. Also the response field configuration, after it comes back to your web page, how you want the response fields and what you want in the response field. Do you want the timestamp or not, or do you want the item details back or not? Do you want the authorization code or not? You can configure this, and how you want this information, as a get method or as a post method. If you are familiar with website development, you know what this term get method or post method mean. And also you can configure after successful transaction where the control should go, in which web page the control should go, or if it fails, where the control should go. This is basically it. Okay, if you're not sure that you have memorized the URL, or just confused about the URLs or resources I provided, I also provided an article in my website, so that whenever required you can just come back and check these resources. I hope that this will help. So I'm going to the web page, computer.justetc.net. So you see an article or short notes on online payment processing with Monaris. It lists the thing as I mentioned previously. I think the article may not be always here, so it's better you come through searching online payment processing with Monaris. The search engine will match the exact phrase. In future I will improve it, but for the time being it is just like this. So you see all the resources are here as I have described, and all the steps required or the topics that this tutorial covers are also listed here. Just take a look. Okay, now next step is maybe I can show you a demo how people are implementing this Monaris in their web pages. Okay, this is the demo. Just try the hosted page option. As I told previously, there are two options. Hosted page, it will be hosted by Monaris itself, or you can do everything by yourself, but you have to write more code and more programmings are involved. But my personal opinion is, if you go through the programming route, somehow that's better in the way that you have more control for the overall process. You have more options to customize. But if you go through the hosted pages, you don't have to do much programming, but you also have less control over the total process. And another approach is sometimes the customer may like the hosted pages option if you are new in the process, because Monaris is a well-known company. So if you say that the payment processing will be done by a third person or third-party company, customers may have more faith on you. So as they will be more confident in Monaris than you if you're just a beginner in online trading or online business. But the other way, if you go through the programming side and want to do customize everything by programming, you have more control. You can include more options in it. And actually what happens is many third-party companies, they go through the programming route and they create some modules or some systems or to provide some service, customized service to implement such thing. In that case, they do all the stuffs that a customer requires. They do all the stuffs and all the processing, and they provide more configuration options or more customization options to the customer. These are just the middlemen who builds a business based on this. But you don't have to go through them. You can also directly go through Monaris. So this is, we see that a demo information collection page, and from here we see that they are providing already some product information. As for demo, they just assume the customer has purchased these products for demo purpose. They have displayed these things. What will happening that they will be collecting user information here, and when you click here, it will go to the Monaris hosted pages. And one thing is, many of these informations are just optional to go to the Monaris hosted pages. You can fill up some and go there. I'm not filling it up. You can try it yourself. I'm just directly going there. And this is one of the hosted pages by Monaris. You can give the name on card here, and you can provide the credit card information here. I think this is a testing server. It will go to a testing server, so you can provide a test credit card. I think it will get approved from here, and a future expiry date. You can provide the billing information in this demo, but I think for this demo it is not mandatory, and Monaris also does not need this information as a mandatory information. If you want, you can supply to customize your solution, or you can skip it. You don't need to supply these things to Monaris. So if I click on it, so it got approved and it is displaying some receipt. So we will also try to implement a similar thing in a demo version. Just take a look at a demo implementation that is done by me, just for demonstration purpose, nothing fancy, just to demonstrate something quickly. I'm going to just etc.net testing moneris index.php. So these are some information you need to provide to be able to go to the Monaris hosted pages. So we see that one of the information is PS store ID. Actually, I displayed the name. It is the name of this control, and you also have to put it like this. And then the HPP key you need to supply to Monaris to go to there. And another mandatory option is the charge total that you need to supply to Monaris, and order ID you also need to supply to Monaris. I just displayed them this is the Monaris store ID. This is the SPP key. Actually, you have to configure your own store. If you use the test version, then you have to collect this information. I will show you from where you can collect this information. But when you will have your own production server, in that case, from your production server administration window, you will be able to get this information. So if I click here in submit, it will go to the Monaris hosted pay page or payment collection page. So this is the information. It is hosted by Monaris and it is asking for all the card information, and if I give it here, it can get approved or declined. And one thing is, in our demo version we saw many other fields here, just customer information, shipping and billing information, or different kind of information. We just see here the basic information. It actually depends on how you configure your configure from your store administration. So at this moment, actually I can better show you how to collect those information from Monaris so that you can implement this basic step. Just implement this screen and come to this screen. And before that, I am showing the source code for this screen. You can just go to view source and you see I'm just providing some. I have declared a form, and when you click the submit button, it is going to the Monaris hosted pay page URL. I think this will be same for all, and this exact URL is good only for the testing purpose, and for the production server you will get a different URL. Just check the reference guide, you will see it there. I think that will be something www.3.moneris.com, then sppdp index.php. Okay, I will try to show you later, but it will be different. And this is the test server hosted page. It's esqa.moneris.com something. I am supplying some information. See, this is the store ID and this is the value. I kept it type text. You can keep it hidden because you don't need to show it to the customer. And HPP key, you also need to supply this. This is also a must thing. And the charge total. The control name is charge total. I am providing value 0.00. You can provide anything you want, but I think for the testing purpose, for testing server, there are some predefined values. Based on the charge total value, it will approve or decline your order or your transaction. It's just for testing purpose, but in your real implementation you have to collect the charge total from the products the customer has ordered, and you have to mention it in this field programmatically or dynamically, and you have to supply it to the Monaris. And on another thing, I have also mentioned an order ID. So you also have to provide this order ID, and this field, okay, I have to check if it is order ID or order number. And another thing, if you don't provide this, Monaris itself will generate some order ID dynamically. But if your system has some order ID, if your web application maintains some order ID, it may be a good idea to supply your own order ID to the Monaris so that you can synchronize or verify the transaction later. And one thing is, each order ID should be different. If you provide the same order ID again and again to the same store, it will get errors on the process. So I'm just showing you how to get this information. Actually, you have to get this information from the administrative window. Just for the timing, I will just connect to the test administration store, test store administration window, and collect this information for you. So again, I'm going back to my website because okay, I see that this is the demo store administration window. Actually, this is not the complete exact URL. You have to come until the MPG. You don't have to type everything. So this is the information. This is the window to log into the test administration. So first we see there are some username and password is here. And store ID you can just keep store 5. So this is the store administration. You have to come back to admin. You have to go to hosted configuration. So this is the store ID that I am using. So let's see if the store ID is there or not. I'm trying to find it. So you see the store ID is there and the HPP key is here. You can also edit it here, and if you want you can generate a new HPP key by clicking it here and use it that store, but for the time being it's okay. So some basic configuration we can see here. We are telling the transaction type should be purchase, and this is the some response method. We are mentioning that from the first window, if you select it, then Monaris itself will generate a receipt for your customer. And if you select the second method, after processing, Monaris will come back to your website or web page, and it will send the data with post method, and that will contain XML. If you select the third option, it will come back to your website, and Monaris will not print the receipt, and it will send all the information as a HTTP post method. You have to collect those information and process it, and it will be some I think attribute value pair. This type it will not be as XML format. I think the second option is for XML format. The fourth option, you will get all the information as a get. I think it's part of the URL. And here we see two of the options, approved URL and declined URL. Actually the thing is when the transaction will get approved after Monaris, it will go to this web page, and if it is declined, it will go to this web page. In my case, I am just referring to the success.php for the success case. Error.php for the error case. Then I'm just saving it. I think I can better handle it through post, but I think XML post, and that can be very convenient way for the processing. Okay, here we see the configure appearance option. Where does it refer to? I think when you click here, you see the appearance. If you want to customize this window, then you have to do the configuration here. Then if I say configure appearance here, I'm trying to display additional information. You can also select what type of credit card you want to approve or you want to take payment from. So this is saved. If you check this window now, so we see some additional options here. Actually there is not it's not that it is collecting information from the user. Actually from the previous screen, if you supply this information, Monaris will display it and Monaris will collect it from here. So let's remove those options again. If we check the window now, okay, you see just the appearance has changed. Okay, this is the return to main configuration. Right. Here you can configure the response fields that Monaris will send back to your web page. If you want Monaris to send all the item details that you send to Monaris, actually to get back the item details back in the response as a response, you also need to send to Monaris the item details. Then Monaris can send you back, otherwise it will just send the blank or empty values. It can also return the shipping details as you have supplied to Monaris. Also the billing details, if you supply to Monaris, Monaris can return you back those billing details. Return other customer fields, customer related information, and the transaction number. It can be some synchronization information, some verification information for the reference, so that your system and Monaris system can synchronize. And here the option automatically prompt card holder for new card number on decline. In that case, if the credit card is not approved, the credit card will ask for another number until it gets something that is really approved. In that case, I think the failure configuration and the return to a particular web page for the failure may not always work. Actually, I didn't test much on that. Now, why you need this information back? It may be required that after Monaris comes back to your web page or website, you want to print a detailed receipt. In that case, you can, using this information, you can create a detailed receipt, and if you want, you can again email to the customer the item details and the order details and also the receipt. Just now, if you want to process these things and if you want this information back, you can do it. Though your own system will have all this information, but to get this, you will need some extra processing. Okay, so from here you can just save these response settings. So we will test later whether these are working accordingly or not. And we can go back, return to main configuration. You can also configure some security here. Just to identify your store and your URLs, and also you can create some options to verify the transactions. We are not going deep into it. Okay, mistakenly I come back here. So go to edit. You also see the configure email receipt. This is actually the option how you want Monaris to generate the receipt. When Monaris will display the receipt, what are the options you want to be displayed in that receipt? You can just select all that information that applies to your particular situation or need. Okay, so we can get back to our implementation. So at this moment we see the configuration is something like this, that be a purchase and we'll get back response as a post message. If it is success, it will go to success.php. If it is error, it will go to error.php in my website. And the appearance, it will be the basic appearance. Nothing we changed here from the basic. And response fields, there will be some response fields. Okay, we can also provide some information in the hosted pages appearance just to test that how they work. So that's about it. I'm going back to my implementation, just the basic implementation. So from there I collected the store ID, the HPP key, and the charge total 0.00, it will get approved, and the order ID, I am giving the order ID to be 1000. So I am uploading to my website. Okay. So just etc.net testing moneris index.php. We see these are the basic information that we are sending to Monaris, and again you can keep this information hidden. So we see we selected item details in the appearance page, but we did not supply any item information to this page, so this information are blank. We did not supply customer ID, email address, node, so this is blank. We supplied transaction amount, it is here. We supplied order ID, it is here. So cardholder's name, test user, and this is a dummy credit card number as set by Monaris, and the card verification number is 099. You can actually omit it from this appearance from the and configure it in the administrative window. Just click process transaction. Okay, somehow it is not getting my web page, but I have to check actually. Oh, sorry, I think I meant receipt to be the success. I'm just renaming it success.php. So it's coming back to this page. I'm going back and text pad, changing the order to 1001 and see how things go. So the order ID is now 1001, submit, cardholder and name, test user, any of the future date, 099, process transaction. So it is coming to error.php, something did not went through, did not work, so it's not sure from here. Anyway, we we'll come back to this later. In the meantime, I want to test the Monaris receipt option. Just we want to give Monaris, we want Monaris to print the receipt, so I'm changing it. One thing may be for the error, this approved URL or declined URL, they get removed, or okay, as it is a testing server, there is a possibility that someone has changed this URL. It can happen for sure. Someone else can use the same tester ID. So here we see error.php testing Monaris error, testing Monaris success. Still we want okay, I just took a break, again starting. So at this moment we will see that we will configure Monaris to display the receipt for us. Just for the configuration, going to Monaris here, and okay, I'm selecting eSelect Plus, will generate a receipt for us. Still the fields are approved URL, declined URL, but I think here it is not allowing us to provide any URL when you want Monaris to generate the receipt. But in another different version, I think it was also mandatory to give a URL, even if you want Monaris to generate the receipt. So we can just say again, see how things go here. Okay, I'm just changing the order number. It has to be different each time. Okay, now just etc testing Monaris index.php. So it is just 6 order ID and something. So submit. I change the appearance just to include the basic, and the curve, the default one, a future 099, process transaction. So Monaris is generating this receipt, and we see that there are some fields. I think it also depends on the configuration here. Then configure email receipt. Oh, sorry, it's about the email receipt. What you want to send to the customer in email. This configuration is for that purpose. I think you can also mention the customer email. You can also supply customer email to Monaris so that the email is sent to customer. In that case, I think in your initial screen you have to specify a name for customer and send it. Okay, maybe I can show you a detailed version that it may make more sense. I'm going to the configure appearance of the hosted page. I'm trying to display all of the information here. Display merchant name, and if the transaction get cancelled, where it will go. And I think continue button text, continue button URL. this is required when you want Monaris to generate the receipt. You can provide an URL here. So in receipt page, a continue button will be displayed, and if you click on the continue button, the control will come to this URL. I think here we see that there is no continue button here or where it is going. I think in our setup, the hide item was active and we did not provide any URL here, so the screen looks like this. Actually, there is a different version, or previously I worked with a different version. We could mention this URL in another places. Okay, I'll just show you just a little bit after that. Okay, so in this page we are just configuring the appearance of the payment hosted page from where the credit card information will be collected. Okay, I'm just giving the continue button URL here. Just when Monaris will generate the receipt, the continue button will be here. If you click on the continue button, where it will go? I'm just giving the path of my website just to test, but you should point it to somewhere that makes sense in terms of your process flow. And this is the 3-digit number. If you want to display it or not, we are just keeping as it is. Okay, then here we have selected Monaris to print the receipt, but we kept the URL blank here. But in configure appearance, we are telling to include the continue button. This is the continue button text, and this is the URL where to continue from the receipt page as will be generated by Monaris. I think in another version of this test store administration, I think providing a URL in these fields are mandatory. You must have to provide this, but I think in this version you don't have to provide it here, but you have to provide it in a configure appearance. So we will see now how things go. Maybe I can also active configure email receipt. I want Monaris to send a detailed receipt to my configuration to my email. So this is the merchant email. I'm just putting site@just etc.net, and I am including all of the information that are possible to send. So I think from here one email will go to the customer and one email will come to the merchant. I am providing my email address as the merchant, and customer email address will be provided as part of the process, as part of the input collection window. You have to do it dynamically or statically. Okay, I'm just saving it here, and at this moment I will make the input collection window a detailed to collect everything. It is already there. I just need to change the customer email address. So not this, but this. I'm putting another of my email address as the customer email address. So I will get customer receipt in this area, and I will get merchant email for the merchant in my another account, site@just etc.net. So save it here and upload it here. Maybe something. So it is uploaded. So from this screen, okay, one more thing, I actually need to update the order ID, otherwise it may not work properly. So I'm providing 700 to be the order ID in the index detail. Okay, I can also put it here, but these are actually two different files and they work independently, so it's not mandatory that I need to change in both files. So both are uploaded successfully. I'm reloading this page. The order ID is 700. Here is the detailed version. If I click on here, so I am sending all the possible information to Monaris that we can send, and you see all the information here. Actually, this is the exact text that I used as the name for these controls, and you have to use the exact same name. But the thing is, if the destination URL varies for this form, if you want to use another store administration window, the URL, if the URL varies, then some of the name may vary, but the URL I used in the form action, this is the exact same name that you have to use, but not the colon. You have to omit the colon. You can keep them visible, you can keep them hidden. It depends on your purpose and process what you want. Okay, we see there are the basic stuffs. These are the mandatory information that you must have to supply to identify your store. And after that, we have provided some item description, just description 1, ID 1, quantity 1, subtotal 1, price 1. All these 5 information to describe one item. And we have another second item. We see that description 2, ID 2, quantity 2, subtotal 2, price 2. It is recommended that when you mention an item, you give all 5 information. And this is the customer email. You have to supply it dynamically or whatever way you want. This is the customer ID you are providing. This is the order ID you are providing. This is the language you are providing. I think based on that local or language, you can customize the message in the web pages. And you are also providing the GST, PST, HST, and also the shipping cost note. This is the billing address for this transaction. So first name, last name, company name, address, city, state, everything is there. This is also the credit card billing information. This is the shipping information where the products will be shipped to, and this is the charge total. We are keeping it 0.00. And one thing, if you want Monaris to verify the credit card billing information, Monaris can also provide that support, but in the basic service you can supply the billing information, but not necessarily Monaris will justify that credit card information, credit card address information. And this charge total we are providing 0.00. Monaris by default don't sum up all of the individual prices and come up with the final price and match it here. Monaris usually does not do it. It's your responsibility to make these figures right. Monaris will just consider these fields independently. So if I press the submit button, this is the Monaris hosted pay page. We see many information here, as we have provided all the information, and also in the configure and appearance options we selected what are the information that should be displayed here. So all the information are displayed. We could customize this window for sure. These are all the item descriptions. You can provide as many items as you want. There may be some limit. You have to check the specification guide. And these are the figures, numbers, dollar amounts. This is the total. This is for testing purpose. We see customer ID, email address, customer email address, the notes, and this is the billing address, this is the shipping address. And we are collecting the credit card information. Okay, one thing in the meantime, I want to configure the response fields so that we also understand that we are getting the response and how we are getting. Okay, we have mentioned many items to be sent as a response item. So you'll see. Okay, I'm just processing the transaction. Okay, this is the receipt. Monaris is displaying on their web page. This is not that we are displaying the receipt. Monaris is displaying the receipt. In the meantime, Monaris supposed to have emailed to both the customer, that is saidum@yahoo.com, and to the merchant, that is said@justetc.net, with the details of these transactions as appropriate. We see the transaction is approved. The continue button is here as we configured in the appearance window. Just we see here that configure appearance. We activated the continue button, text to be continue, and after that it will go to the continue button URL. So if I press the continue button, it should go to justetc.net. Okay, so it is coming back to justetc.net. And one thing is, just one thing we need to check here. Actually here we are not sending response back to our site. I think if we selected these things, then we could see the responses that here we want Monaris to generate the receipt. We don't see any response field here, but in our later example we'll demonstrate the response fields. So we see it came back to here. Now we want a little bit different configuration. Just go there. I want Monaris to send back the information, and it's as a post. So I am putting the success.php at the success message, error.php at the error message. In this moment, Monaris will not generate the receipt. This will not display the receipt because we did not select this option. Okay, at one point we will also check the emails Monaris has sent to us. Just before that, I am demonstrating another approach of implementation. Okay, just save changes from here. We see that we have a success.php. We also have an error.php. In success.php, it is actually renamed receipt.php. We see that this is just a PHP code to print all the attributes and all the values as coming back from Monaris. We will see. Okay, I think the code is as get information, not as post. So I can select it as a get. It's easier to understand, but practically Post is the better choice. It's more secure and you can get more data from the Monaris. Get, I think it's limited. It is displayed on the URL and it cannot send good amount of data. There is some restrictions on it. So from here we saw that success actually retrieves the response fields as get and tries to print all of them. And for error, you can just say error occurred for simplicity. So click it here and upload it here. Okay, one thing is now we have to update the order ID. I will use the detailed version, so this version is not really required to be changed. This is the web page from where we'll do the execute the example. Okay, I think better search it here. 800. So close it there. I'm uploading both of the pages. Okay, as for success.php, I think it is for the editing. Okay, so here, I'm just going to testing Monaris index. So this is the detailed version, and we see the order number. It's 800 here. If I submit, everything is here. I can just give the customer information, credit card information, a future date, and the card security code. Just process transaction. So this is coming to the success.php, and I'm just trying to display everything, whatever it came. This is the field and this is the value, response order ID, date stamp, time stamp, back transaction ID. So you see everything here. And another thing, if you check the URL, actually all this information comes as part of the URL. As we have mentioned, the return method to be get, so all of the information is coming part of the URL and as a get. If you would mention post, you would not be seeing this information in the URL, but in that case you could write your success.php in a different way. If you wanted to generate the receipt, you have to collect all the information as a post and you have to display it. For simplicity, I just collected it as code so that you understand that you are getting the values. And we also saw the success PHP code for each $_get as key value. We are just echoing the key and value both. So you also see that we are also getting the item description here back from Monaris as we supplied. We are getting back. And if you want to generate a nice looking, professional looking receipt using this information, you can definitely do it. Okay, this is the basic, and the thing is it is compatible with other environment. If you want to use a Java environment, JSP servlet environment, you can also implement the stuffs in the similar ways. There is not much different. So I'll try to take a look at the emails if I have received anything and what are the format. Just wait a bit. Okay, this is the email I have got as for the merchant. You see that site.justetc.net, as we mentioned this email as the merchant email, and you see all the information: approved, payment details, approved, both of the products, and the customer details, billing details, shipping details, everything is there. Now I will check as a customer, did I get any email or not? Just a bit, wait. Yes. Okay, I did not get the customer email yet. Maybe it will take a while to come. Something is have gone wrong, but according to my past experience, the customer also gets an email as you're supplying email in the as part of the screen, and you also configure the response fields and email receipt, customer email appearance, and those kind of stuffs. So you will ultimately get it. So that's about it. You can just use this basic information and customize for your own application. Good luck. If you have any question, you can email us back to admin@justetc.net or webmaster@justetc.net. Is there any other concerns? And hopefully we'll be glad to help you. Thanks. Bye.